On September 7th, 1996, Tupac Shakur came to Las Vegas to attend a Mike Tyson fight. After the fight, Tupac, along with Suge Knight, Trayvon Lane, and other people that were with that group, ran into a person named Orlando Anderson. And Orlando Anderson is the defendant's nephew. And when they encountered Orlando Anderson sitting by himself, they attacked him. And that attack was captured on video. Then, a few hours later, Tupac Shakur and Suge Knight drive down Flamingo Road to Club 662, where Tupac is scheduled to perform a concert. Then 2.5 hours later, after Tupac and Suge engaged in the beating of Orlando Anderson, they are gunned down. Tupac is gunned down in a drive-by shooting from a white Cadillac in an act of revenge. During those 2.5 hours, you will learn that the defendant was escalating and planning the retribution for the beating of his beloved nephew. Now, let's be clear. Duane Davis did not pull the trigger. But what he did do was plan the retaliation for the beating of his nephew. You will learn that Duane Davis got the gun. You will learn that he got into a white Cadillac. You will learn when the opportunity presented itself for retribution, Duane Davis made sure that the shooters were armed and ready to execute their revenge. And remarkably, you will learn that from Duane Davis himself.
Nearly 30 years after Tupac Shakur was killed in Las Vegas, a jury is now hearing the prosecution's case against Duane "Keffe D" Davis. Davis has pleaded not guilty. And at the center of the trial is a major question: can prosecutors prove their case using, in part, statements Davis himself made years after Tupac's death?
We don't have anything to verify any of that information. Not one single thing to corroborate the statements made by that man in 2008 or 2009. Not only by Metro, but by the FBI, by LAPD, by the DEA, by the United States Attorney's Office. No one corroborates any of this.
That is the battle now taking shape before the jury. Prosecutors say Davis's own words help connect him to the retaliation that followed the MGM Grand fight. The defense says those statements were never independently corroborated and argues that years passed without prosecutors bringing charges. Now, nearly 3 decades after Tupac's death, a Las Vegas jury will have to decide which version of that story the evidence actually supports.
Detective Mogg received a copy of what's called the Death Row Chronicles in 2018. It's not a deposition. It's not testimony under oath. It's edited and it's done for educational purposes. He receives a copy of it. You know what happens when he receives that copy of the interviews that the state has basically shown you in this case? No charges filed. Why? So, Keffe writes a book, allegedly. Right? Allegedly, he writes this book called Country Free Legend in 2019. You know what happened with the book? Right? Even he confesses to it. What you find is, no charges filed. What is going on? District Attorney's Office doesn't want to charge the case. No charges filed when the interview happens. No charges are filed when the book is written. What is going on? 5 years goes by, and nothing is going on with the case. But Detective Mogg says he's closing it out. Detective Mogg turns around and applies for what's called a search warrant. Now,
that is where the Tupac Shakur murder trial now stands. Prosecutors say Duane Davis helped organize the retaliation that led to Tupac's killing and argue that his own past statements helped prove their case. The defense says those statements were never properly corroborated and questions why authorities waited years before bringing charges. Davis has pleaded not guilty, and ultimately, the jury will decide what the evidence proves. The trial continues. Follow and subscribe for the next update.